Entry-level sedans don't get much respect in modern automotive coverage, and the reasons are understandable even if the outcome is unfortunate. The segment sits below the crossover boom that has absorbed most of the industry's attention and marketing budget, below the performance cars that generate enthusiast discussion, and well below the electric vehicle conversation that dominates most forward-looking automotive media. And yet, the subcompact sedan remains one of the most commercially significant categories in global automotive markets, serving buyers for whom a car is a genuine economic necessity rather than a lifestyle choice or an aspirational purchase. The Nissan Versa has been one of the most important vehicles in this space for years, consistently one of the most affordable new cars available in the United States, a significant seller in Mexico and other Latin American markets, and a product that serves a real and underserved need in a way that deserves more thoughtful coverage than it typically receives. Production of the 2026 Versa has officially started, and while the full specification picture is still emerging ahead of the formal debut, enough has been revealed to understand the direction Nissan has taken with what is genuinely one of the brand's most strategically important models. The approach is measured and deliberate rather than revolutionary, and understanding why that's the right call requires thinking about what the Versa actually is and who it actually serves. The 2026 model does not arrive on a completely new platform, and that decision reflects a clear-eyed understanding of the segment's economics. Like the larger Sentra, the Versa evolves from its existing foundation rather than making the significant cost and complexity investment that a clean-sheet platform would require. The underlying structure traces back to the generation introduced in 2019 and refreshed in 2022, and the continuity is visible in the overall proportions. The roofline, the window graphic, and the side profile all signal that the fundamental body shell remains largely intact. This isn't a shortcut born from laziness. It's a calculated allocation of development resources that preserves cost efficiency where the existing architecture still performs adequately, while directing investment toward the areas where the update can make the most meaningful difference to buyers. Those areas are primarily the exterior design, the interior technology, and the safety equipment, exactly where consumer expectations in this segment have shifted most significantly over the past few years. Starting with the front end, which has received the most substantial visual attention, the new fascia adopts styling themes that echo the Nissan Murano in a way that feels like elevation rather than simple badge coordination. A contemporary split LED headlight arrangement connects across a gloss black trim strip. The grille is significantly slimmer than the previous generation's unit, lending the sedan a noticeably sharper and more refined expression, and an elongated lower intake adds visual width while contributing a sportier stance. The hood and front fenders appear largely unchanged from the outgoing model, confirming the facelift-oriented nature of the exterior work rather than obscuring it, which is an honest approach that doesn't try to oversell the scale of the revision. The rear-end updates are subtler but effective within the constraints of what's been changed. A redesigned taillight unit provides a more defined and contemporary lighting signature that significantly cleans up the back of the car. The trunk lid has been lightly reshaped and now carries prominent Versa lettering across its surface, a detail that reinforces brand identity at the rear in a way that's become increasingly common across the industry. The license plate has been repositioned lower into a revised rear bumper assembly, which integrates the change neatly rather than leaving it feeling like an afterthought. Freshly designed alloy wheels contribute to the overall visual freshness across trims, and promotional imagery featuring an Arctic ice blue metallic paint finish demonstrates that the revised exterior detailing can present very well in showroom conditions. The interior hasn't been fully revealed yet, which leaves the cabin story partially untold ahead of the formal debut. What's expected, and what the broader context of Nissan's recent product direction strongly suggests, is a comprehensively refreshed dashboard layout incorporating a digital instrument cluster and an upgraded infotainment interface.
The safety technology expansion is where the interior story gets particularly interesting, and it's worth dwelling on because it represents a genuine shift in what buyers at this price point can now access.
The Mexican market specification, one of the key launch regions for the 2026 Versa, gives the clearest picture of what the trim structure looks like in practice. 3 grades are offered: Sense, Advance, and Exclusive, and the range of equipment across those 3 levels is considerably broader than the segment's reputation for austerity might suggest. The entry-level Sense is where the value proposition starts, and it starts more compellingly than entry-level pricing usually implies. Standard LED lighting, 6 airbags, a 9-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration, forward collision warning, and automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection all come as standard equipment on the base trim. That technology and safety specification would have seemed ambitious for a mid-tier trim in this class only a few years ago. Having it at the entry point reflects how far consumer expectations have moved and how seriously Nissan has taken the task of meeting them without pushing the price beyond the segment's boundaries. The Sense CVT variant adds a push-button start, cruise control, rear parking sensors, and automatic door locking, convenience features that meaningfully improve daily usability without requiring a significant step up the price ladder. The Advanced trim introduces 16-inch aluminum wheels in place of the base model's 15-inch steel units, welcome lighting, a 4-speaker audio system, a 7-inch digital instrument cluster, passive entry, and an around-view monitor system. That last feature is worth noting specifically because 360-degree camera systems have typically been reserved for considerably more expensive vehicles, and their presence at this tier signals a genuine commitment to driver assistance technology across the range, rather than concentrating it exclusively at the top. The equipment list reads as thoughtfully assembled rather than padded with features that sound impressive but add limited real-world value. The Exclusive, sitting at the top of the Mexican range and available only with the CVT, is where the specification list becomes genuinely surprising for the segment. 17-inch aluminum wheels, a 12.3-inch infotainment display, an 8-speaker Bose premium audio system with speakers integrated into the headrests, a wireless smartphone charging pad, lane departure prevention, and blind spot intervention all appear on a subcompact sedan. The Bose headrest speaker integration is the detail that most clearly communicates premium ambition. It's unusual in vehicles significantly more expensive than the Versa, and its presence here either signals that Nissan has found a cost-effective way to deliver a genuinely good acoustic experience at this price point, or that the system is more about specification sheet differentiation than actual audio quality. The answer to that question will emerge when reviewers spend proper time with the car, but the intent is clear enough. The powertrain situation is straightforward and exactly what you'd expect. A naturally aspirated 1.6-liter 4-cylinder producing 118 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque continues as the engine option, sitting on the Nissan V platform that underpins earlier versions of models like the Kicks and the recently introduced Kite crossover in select markets. The platform supports front-wheel drive configuration and compact proportions with a focus on efficiency and packaging practicality, rather than dynamic ambition, which suits the vehicle's purpose and buyer profile precisely. CVT is the dominant transmission offering across most markets as Nissan continues phasing out manual options in many territories, though certain regions will retain a manual gearbox option for buyers and markets where it remains relevant. Interior material quality varies noticeably between specification levels in a way that's worth understanding before visiting a showroom. Higher trims display a more polished environment featuring soft-touch dashboard surfaces accented by faux contrast stitching, details that elevate the perceived quality of the cabin meaningfully beyond what the price implies. Lower trims make broader use of hard plastics, which is entirely consistent with the cost-sensitive positioning of those grades and honest rather than disappointing when understood in context. Climate controls maintain a conventional physical layout across the range, which is the right decision for a vehicle whose buyers genuinely prioritize usability and clear functionality over the minimalist aesthetic that has driven some competitors toward all touchscreen control surfaces. A flat-bottom steering wheel and subtle silver accents provide a modest sport-inspired touch that suits the updated exterior character without overclaiming. What Nissan has built with the 2026 Versa is a vehicle that understands its own role better than the segment's critics sometimes understand it. The buyers who will choose this car aren't looking for a crossover alternative or a technology showcase. They're looking for a reliable, affordable, well-equipped new vehicle that serves genuine transportation needs over years of daily use without demanding ongoing financial attention. The 2026 Versa delivers on that brief with meaningful improvements to visual freshness, safety technology, and cabin quality that justify the new model designation without pretending to be something the segment economics can't support. In a segment that often promises more than it delivers, that kind of honest competence deserves recognition.